Hello and welcome to Responsible Government Contracting, where we dispel misconceptions, bring understanding to the acquisition process, and educate small businesses to engage responsibly in public sector contracting. In today's episode, we will be talking about new regulations that affect the micro-purchasing threshold and the simplified acquisition threshold. Just a preview, the numbers have increased. Hi guys, this is Andy from National Center for Responsible Government Contracting. Just wanted to do a quick little podcast today on some pretty big news that just came out and is going into effect at the end of August. This is August of 2020, so we're coming up on the end of the fiscal year. We've got a lot of stuff going on. There's COVID, a couple of hurricanes out in the Gulf. So just wanted to bring everybody's attention to this so that it doesn't get swept under the rug. So previously, if you've been in the government contracting arena, you know the micro-purchasing threshold, $3,500 or less, simplified acquisition threshold, $150,000 or less. Those are big deals. Those are big thresholds, you know, as they say. Those are big cutoff points for the way contracting officers and the rules that contracting officers have to follow for the acquisition, for the purchase, and the regulations that go behind those kinds of purchases. So what just happened, and I'll show you the release here in a second, but what just happened is the micro-purchasing threshold and the simplified acquisition threshold increased pretty substantially, actually. The micro-purchasing threshold went up to $5,000 or less, and the SAT, or the simplified acquisition threshold, went up to $250,000. So where does that help? Well, let's talk about the registry here for a second. So if you go to, you gotta really be, curious about this kind of stuff, but it was just released in July and goes into effect on July 31st, but DoD, Department of Defense, General Services Administration, GSA, you hear about GSA Advantage, that's those guys, and NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, all concurred on this ruling, and that likely means that ruling will flow down to the other agencies, or the other agencies, I should say, will likely adopt that same policy. But what that ruling says, it kind of focuses at the micro-purchasing threshold, but then if you actually dig down, the simplified acquisition threshold is increased also to $250,000. That's a big deal because now small businesses will benefit from contracts. It used to be contracts under $150,000 were deliberately set aside for small businesses. Now that threshold has been increased to under $250,000 or less. So if you're a small business and you've just been focusing on $200,000 or $150,000 as your upper end limit, now that upper end limit is $250,000. So this doesn't happen very frequently. This is actually a pretty rare, pretty substantial occurrence here, but it is well received by industry. I think there's some other good numbers in here. 72%, for example, of the companies that historically, actually in just FY18, companies that were awarded these types of contracts that fall into that threshold, the differential between $150,000 and $250,000, that impacted 1,680 unique companies. So that's that's substantial. So that's a good thing, good decision, good execution here from the federal government, increasing that simplified acquisition threshold. So keep tuned in, guys. This is Andy again from NCRGC, and you can find our blog and channel at nc-rgc.com.